سحان فالق الإصباح.
Yes, that's right, infidels. On rainy days, I sit back and think how to get rich, chilling with my wives and a mean, ill Jamaican bitch. And we're about to kick it off here. It's the Monday locker room, possibly solo on the dolo. We'll see if RBV does the running, but if not, it's Hacker G ready to do it all. Kick the week off live here. Hamin Media Group, Channel Attitude. Nothing can stop us now. Yalla. Pump that shit. Yeah. July on the fire. That's right. We're about to fire it up here this morning, you guys. Glad you could join us here live for now. Ben Hamin, YouTube channel, twitch.tv/Hamin Media. Had a good time doing some watch-alongs Wednesday and Friday. Glad to be back with you guys for the AEW and SmackDown Live self-help groups. I see YouTube chats blowing up already. Canadian Spaceman, Classified Chappie, Buckshot Kid, and Darkside Caster in the house, man. So, yeah, it's a decent weekend. Some snafus in the missile silo. Got to rewire some things electrical-wise this week. But played 18 holes with referee sideburns yesterday in the Modai, and it was all right, man. That course we played is brutally big, and it's just a lot of work. But I probably got about 20,000 steps in, so I feel good. Didn't sleep worth a shit. Hopefully you guys did. I don't know. I just got so much on my mind that I can never shut down. That's why trips to Jamaica or whatever are about the only 4 or 5 days I get to decompress. So I'm glad to be back in the house, man. We got MJR, Mark Robbins in the house on the MLR. So we're getting all the initials in today, y'all. But hopefully you guys had a good weekend, man. Maybe your NFL teams probably did better than my Giants did. That's for sure. Losing quarterback and our number one running back with a devastating ankle fucking roll. Oh my, just watching it, my ankle blew up crazy, dude. So what are you gonna do, man? It's football, right? But I'm glad I don't have Bovada because I've been picking parlays, and every week I would have lost. So I'd be in a way worse mood than I usually am on Mondays if I'd got my ass kicked on Sunday. So but hopefully if you were betting that you won big, got some extra change, you can take it to cameo.com/BenHamin or prowrestlingtees.com/BenHamin and spend that extra money all you want. Appreciate it, dude. Working on Channel Attitude. If you're a subscriber there, looks like things are up and running. I uploaded some of last week's shows. I'm going to do more today. Well, I have video to compress, so it gives me a little multitasking thing I can do here, which I always enjoy, killing two birds with one stone, 3 if I can. But yeah, man, it was nice. No, these weekends with no wrestling on a Sunday is great. I stayed up to watch the Tyson Fury fight, but I was so beat. I passed out right before they entered. So I did see the highlights, knockouts, and he fucking tattooed old boy. There's no doubt about that, man. So, if you were a fan of the fight game, it was a decent weekend. That way I wouldn't want to get punched by that big motherfucker. He hits hard. There's no doubt about that, man. But non-wrestling weekends always a little bit nicer, even though I like being on the road performing. I don't have any shows till the 30th. My 23rd and 24th show both got scrapped for Immortal. Got on the 23rd, got pushed to the 30th in Troy, New York, and we're going to have Moose and AC Baby on that one. Hopefully GGP can make it. If not, Blaze and I'll be there to handle business. And then the 24th in Buffalo Championship Wrestling, unfortunately, got pushed too. So sorry to anybody out there who was looking forward to come watch me beat the shit out of your favorite Buffalo drunk moron. But, we'll have to wait until they reschedule. So, but if you got an indie you want me on it, let them know. Oh, yeah, everyone's losing it, man. When it comes to the hardcore VAXX talk, it's getting more and more hardcore with YouTube cracking down on anything that's anti-jab or any talk like that, just trying to quell it. And then the big news that's everywhere, I'm sure you guys saw, is Southwest Airlines, where there was a media blackout and they put it on bad weather at DFW, but it was so much more than that, of forced mandate vaccinations, and they don't want to do it. So a lot of people at every level, from baggage handlers, but probably all the way to flight control people, just ghosted. They're like, fuck this. I think 46 to 60% of their staff, for trying to mandate health, what you're going to do with your own personal health. And I love that level of civil disobedience. Nobody really gets hurt. People get frustrated and angry because now their lives are disrupted because we're all in our own little simple bubble. And the reality is we need to come together to fight against all types of tyranny, not just whatever this is with our health being under attack. But it takes that point of where your job, where you're doing them the favor, not the other way around, tries to mandate and dictate your life. Nah, B. We're off this piece. And then you get 9,000 Karens with their fucking little kids who are on their 19th Disney vacation, because that's how fucking simple their lives are, that they have to go to some escape fantasy world instead of going to Yellowstone or some shit like that, where it's the reality of incredible Earth. That they're all fucked up and cunting off because there's 4 people who have to rebook 13,000 flights or whatever the fuck got canceled now. I think it's like 650, but still, that's a shit ton, man. And if that's what we have to do to bring things to a screeching halt, and everyone's angry, then so be it. Because I'll even stooge this off. In my own family, I have doctors, and I care for them very much. They're very some of the most intelligent people I know, but they're reacting in a way that's very emotional. And intelligent people don't act with emotion. They act with logic, reasoning, and weighing out the options, and then choosing the best road. And meanwhile, people who've done a lot more schooling than me, that I care very much about in my family, are turning to guilt and those types of things to serve their own purpose, where it's disguised as, I'm sure they do care about me and love me, and it's about them wanting me to be healthy, but they're also have a big set of blinders on. But then at the same time, they're in the hospital seeing people die from this. So it's a tough spot for me to be in, but I don't respond well to veiled threats layered with a nice guilt frosting on top. That's the quickest way for me to do the opposite of what you're trying to get me to do. So even in my own personal circle, like, I've been dealing with some things like that, and it's people I care about very much, and I'm sure you guys are going through it with your families too. That's just how it goes. So if I don't hang out for Thanksgiving, then I'll be in the woods by myself. That's that's a fine secondary option for me. You know what I mean? Instead of trying to add to people's stress who are already misinformed and stressed out. So, but the civil disobedience in the face of mandates is a beautiful thing to me. And will we actually have a greater moment of awakening from this, to show that the ruling class is very, very small, and those who run things are very, very powerful, not just union wise and all that, but just human movement. I'm hoping to release, it's been 3 months now that we've had this in the can with the conspiracy horsemen and David Icke, but a lot of what I'm talking about right now is starting to happen again in what he talked about in our interview. So maybe it might be the perfect time to drop it here in the next week or two. So we shall see, but check out Channel Attitude this week as we hopefully get things up and rising, you guys. Somebody who's not up and rising, my man RBV. He might have had a tough night last night doing his thing. He said he was going to try and make it, but I haven't seen hide or hair of him yet since he texted me. So if not, we'll just do it solo on the dolo. No coughing in the mic, but I see Frank's in the house, Bobo's in the house, Buckshot Kid, a couple other people, man. There's some good news. People getting new gigs. Dark Side Caster, I think, started a new gig. So that's awesome, man. Just keep leveling up yourself. Yeah, Johnny Ace people power it. And, we're going to get through. You just can't let strangers influence your life a ton. You know what I mean? Through visceral reactions, you have to keep a clear head about yourself, and just keep pushing forward inside the madness. I do recommend, though, because another part of what they're trying to pull, globalists, and everyone's seen these memes and what have you, is disrupting the supply chain to get us to bend the knee. So I'm not a big advocate of going out and crazy buying up everything, but get ready, because in the next week or two, there's going to be shortages. Just like, remember the toilet paper shortage? I imagine that'll be one of the first to go. Gas prices will probably raise again. Just think about what you use essentials and go buy double of it today, just so you got it for the next month. So when everything else is going completely ape shit, you can kind of retain a steady course. So let's get out ahead of it, and maybe grab a couple extra frozen pizzas or whatever it is you got to do to put it in the freezer. So when the shit when they really try and turn up the heat because they're not getting where they're going, that's what they're going to do. These acts of civil disobedience are something that they thought we would fold on. They just thought that we'd go quietly into the night and we'll get them. And they pushed it. And now you've gotten to the 85% Nancy Browns that they are the conspiracy theorists, and they're the ones drawing the line in the sand. And what we're seeing with the Southwest, somebody said Amtrak too, with people walking off, is exactly, unfortunately, what needs to happen. We do need to, they want to push it that far, then to the common man, then you will see what the common man does every day, and we will stop this machine. And it's a sad and dark day in America, y'all. It's a sad and dark day because all this shit should keep running, but unfortunately, we have a secret government, a secret society of New World Order psychopaths that are ruining the lives of billions of people, and they're less than 2,000 in number. How long till we overrun them all? And maybe today or yesterday, this weekend, was a quick first step to that, to get them to bend. So it'll be interesting, man. And a lot of people are gonna have frustrations and anger because their daily simple life patterns that they've been so keen to go, oh, I'm just going to Jamaica, so I'm gonna buy a thing and I'll be there in 4 hours. Like, you might be going back to the old turn of the century. It might take you 4 days to get to fucking wherever you want to go. So good luck being Amish, everybody. What are you gonna do? Y'all but that, I know that was the big to do, and everyone was hitting me up yesterday, and I like that, man. I like when the system gets shaken to its core, and especially whatever's going on in Washington, dude. It's an insane place. So, but yeah, let's punch in and punch out. Appreciate you guys hanging and banging with me this morning. I think big news for AEW, unfortunately, is that's been hitting the sheets, and kind of a little egg on TK's face here, where they're going head to head with SmackDown next week for a half-hour direct. And we've talked about this, where we were like, oh, the Wednesday Night Wars or whatever the fuck it was with NXT and them. That's a rib. Until you go head to head with Raw or SmackDown, there is no real war. We're not even on the same battlefield. So this week is supposed to be that for a half hour at least, but TK put out a tweet and, tweet, apologize, dive, repeat. That's, they were going head to head and, put it over, they're going to whoop that ass pretty much. And then the numbers come out for Rampage, and it's 466,000. Now they started 8 weeks ago. I think there's been 8 or 9 Rampages on Friday night at 10, maybe a little longer. Somebody can check my math on that. I think it was beginning of August, so maybe 12. But they started at 1.1 million with Punk's debut, and now we're below half that. So we've lost 65%. Really, I'm even a little bit more, maybe 67% of our audience, and so 66. That's a much bigger problem. And then it looks very belly blush to come on. The numbers come out an hour after you drop that tweet saying you're going to whip that ass, and your numbers have done nothing but decrease since the very first show. It's been, if you look at it on the graph, it's a constant steady decline. Kind of leveled out maybe week 8 in around the 600,000s for a couple weeks, then dipped and then dipped again. And you can use all the baseball excuses or what have you. There's no excuse that SmackDown has 2.1 million, 2.2 million leading into that show. That means you have an interested wrestling audience and you can't get them to turn the channel. You can't set something up. I mean, this is the biggest issue that needs to be addressed. Not creative. I mean, creative is part of it, don't get me wrong, but there's so many business strategies that should just say alone, how are we not even converting 50%? Right now they're converting 25% of the SmackDown audience over to AEW for an hour show with CM Punk. That's a problem. That's a big, big problem. And it's a marketing problem. It's an awareness problem. It's a problem that you don't have. You have the hardcore fan base on Wednesdays. Where are they on Friday? Let's even take SmackDown out of the equation. How are you now doing less than 50% of what you're doing on Wednesday at 1.1 million? How are they that diehard? Are they that diehard? This would tell me no. So very interesting. Very interesting of like, what are the solutions to get people to cross over from SmackDown? Why aren't they turning the channel? Why aren't there any hot shots being fired on the internet at 9:45 p.m. that you got to turn in to watch Rampage for? There's a lot of little different tricks that they're not pulling, that especially as the numbers go down. Desperate times call for desperate crimes, man. And there's no such thing as a civil war, if you want to know. It's not very civil at all. You got to fucking fire the shots. They're going to wound and take out your enemy and expose them. And WWE's got so much bad that it should be able to expose them. You don't even have to take shots at their stuff, but there's plenty of Cold War moves that we can do to really try and convert that audience of 2 million. So major crime in AEW. Where is GGP? I couldn't agree more. I mean, you guys tweet Tony Khan, tell him you want Greek God Papadon. Let him know, man, for sure. He absolutely killed it on his AEW debut. Things are good for him with 3 belts. He's booked a lot on the indies, but obviously I want to see him on my TV screen. So the best thing you can do for any company, indie or major, is tell them who you want to see, man. We want to see GGP and Hacker Hamin, don't we? Yes, we do. Sorry, I had a spit take button. Yeah, let's get to the headlines some more here, I guess. But that to me is the biggest thing, that Khan wants to come out and knuckle up, and everyone's like, oh, Consley's gonna whip that ass, and then their number comes out and it's 25%, bro. Like, what happens when they do go head to head? When they do go head to head for a half hour, and that number is even lower, and AEW's at 300,000. Dangerous, bro, for sure. Oh, boom. All right, here we go, guys. We'll keep it right with AEW. CM Punk, you might have heard about him. Good old Phil E. Cheesecake. He feels like trash since returning to wrestling. Wow. In a recent interview with the Rap, AEW star Punk was asked how he feels to be taking bumps inside a pro wrestling ring after a gap of 7 years. He says, oh, I feel like trash. I'll be honest. I'm 42 years old and I haven't taken bumps in 7+ years. I think there's something to building up a callus. It's something you do on a regular basis becomes easier because you do it on a regular basis. I think a lot of wrestlers are feeling this right now. The pandemic, when it shut everything down, it essentially killed the house show business. They're not on the road. They're not taking bumps Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. I think everybody kind of felt awful, like, oh man, I'm wrestling less frequently than I used to, but it feels worse somehow. Although Punk feels worse somehow performing limited dates post-pandemic, he also says the appeal in wrestling is no longer being treated like cattle. He says it's 100% better now, said the son of the business. I don't got to drive to a town and try to check into a hotel at 4:30 in the morning and find out there's a clown convention in the town and that the hotels are all booked up. The appealing side is one of the reasons I came back. The pandemic and the reset kind of made it to where wrestlers have that better schedule and they have more say over this is easier and this is the way it should be. You can't treat us like cattle. That's definitely an appeal. Punk beat Daniel Garcia, no shocker there, so he's 3-0. Next week he'll face Matt Sydal on Rampage. That's cool. I actually saw, did I see Punk versus Sydal at OVW? I know they were in a 6-man together that I remember, but I don't know about singles match. I'm sure no, because Sydal came and Punk was already gone to ECW, so they probably just did something dark. I don't think they had a program at OVW, but yeah. I'm sure travel wise or was easier for cattle unless somebody had to travel this weekend Southwest and got fucked over fully. But yeah, man, it does suck taking bumps when you're not conditioned to it and warm. I mean, even though it's gone now, I did have a nice bruise across my arm just from getting bit by the ropes at 2CW, and just like your body needs to be iron. Oh, I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Iron and Silk, but the one guy who's a kung fu wushu master walks around with a piece of steel, and he punches the piece of steel to callus his hands up. So when he punches you, it's getting hit by a fucking brick or a piece of steel itself, I would say. And that is kind of how it is when you're wrestling a lot, but I'd rather wrestle. I don't know. That's a tough call because when I was at OVW and we were wrestling 4 or 5 days a week, he's absolutely right. Your body does get to a point about 3 months into your training where after you've gotten over the minor injuries and aches and pains, you just go. Like your skeleton's kind of made of antimantium or whatever the fuck it is there for Wolverine. But then you see guys who are in their young 20s getting out of a car, 4 of them getting out of a little shitty fucking Honda Civic or whatever. And everybody's walking like they're 75, 80 years old with busted hips, busted back, shoulders fucked up. Everyone's stretching their neck. And then after everything pops, you see everybody go, oh, all right, let's do another one. And when you're in the ring, you don't really feel it. You're moving, you're feeling good. But it's those car rides after that your body just fails you. That's when you're really in ring shape and bumping a lot. Now, if you're a weekend warrior in it, like most of us are on the indies, because there's no shows running midweek. And if you take a week off, like your body might feel good because you did yoga and you foam rolled or whatever. But I'll go in and take 2-3 bumps, and then all of a sudden, like I was wrestling Brendan Jennings, good wrestler out of Buffalo, man, well-known guy. And Duck One caught me, gives me the rock bottom, and I twisted just enough that I landed on my hip. I've been jacked up since then. And then it heals it doesn't heal like that, but it sets like in a wrong spot, and you feel it for a month. You'll feel one bump for a month, as opposed to if I'm taking 30 bumps a week, now I can fucking get used to it, know what's up, and my body's kicking out. So I bet Punk feels like trash because I'm 44 and he's 42. Not that Punk has to bump a ton, but man, it only takes one, and then you're misaligned, and you can go to the Cairo and you can have the docs and all that shit, but it don't matter, bro. Like you'll get up 2-3 days later and you are just stiff and your skeleton's misaligned, man. No doubt about it. Let's see. Canadian Spaces. I wish old OVW was easy to find. Seen some FCW about 10 years ago and can guess it was the same kind of thing. Definitely FCW is not the same as OVW. You can go to my channel, Ben Hamin channel, and YouTube. There's plenty of OVW up there. Maybe not some of the TV stuff before when they were completely WWE property, but post when they moved out. So you can see plenty of stars there, from Serena to Ryback to Pat Buck, whoever, man. There's a lot of people to check out on my YouTube channel because I directed it and wrote a lot of it. Co-directed. Let's see here where we want to go next. Tony Khan, we'll stick with AEW. Khan, this is the message that Khan sent to sent to SmackDown before the numbers came out. But yeah, man, though the last 30 minutes of the 2-hour show will go to head to have the Rampage. He says, I saw you're doing a half-hour head-to-head with us. I can't wait to finally beat your main show head-to-head. It's been a long time coming. See you next Friday. Oof. Well, you might be a see you next Tuesday, because that's gonna be a fucking tough time to kick out of this 466. If you had momentum and you went from like 800,000 to 1.1 million, then I might be talking that shit. But dude, the whole locker room could be like, oh boy, after this one, this could be a morale kicker in the ass. Maybe they'll come through, maybe they'll beat them. But you know, that to me is it's rough. It's rough, man. And I want good things for them because they have a lot of my friends on their roster. And I think there's a lot that they could be doing that they're not. So Frank asks, Ben, were you at 2CW when the Sandman fell asleep? For those who don't know, Sandman showed up all gimmicked up. The short answer is no. But gimmicked up and half in the bag and went out to wrestle a match. And I think they put him in like a sleeper or something, he called it. And then in the match, he just passed out in the ring. So that's kind of a famous early 2000s. I wouldn't even say early 2000s. That was probably 2008 that happened. So I was still at OVW, and 2CW was really in its infancy, getting kicked off though. I mean, Brody Lee was there and a bunch of others, but it was still the indie building to where its greatness was going to be. But yeah, that was kind of the first thing that put 2CW on the map, and Josh still hot about it and hasn't brought Sandman back since. So, but you know, by any means necessary, I guess, to get people out there, dude. But I wasn't there. I was in OVW at that time. So I didn't start 2CW till Living on the Edge 7, which was Brody's last show. Luke Harper's last show, and my first, where we had Hacksaw and Sergeant Slaughter that first weekend. It was awesome. So, and then we just had the 12th. So I was there 2012 to 2015. So 4-year run. But yeah, man. Oh, Sandman was drunk and asleep in a parking lot in Mississauga when the real ECW is here. The only time in Canada. That's, I guess so, yeah. Yo, Jimbo asked me, what are my thoughts on Joe Gacy? Joe Gacy ducking me. Joe Gacy scared of Ben Hamin. Feel free to tweet him that, because he'll pop him, because we'd be on a lot of shows together and Gacy would have good segments. And he'd have his little infidel beard and whatnot. And I'd always bust his balls. He's all hardcore and shit. Hardcore Joe Gacy, buzzkill Joe Gacy, whatever he was doing. But Joe Gacy don't want none of Ben Hamin. he was always ducking me. I bust his balls. We never hooked it up. We've been on 20 shows maybe together. And a big respect for Joe Gacy. I think he's a great performer. I really would like to, I'd like to reach out to him. I don't want to rock the boat, but his new character has so much ability to do great things, but WWE will fuck it up fully because they'll walk the pussy line, SJW line, and they won't stay in the moment with it, and they'll make it cartoony, but the teeth are there. And I think Gacy can pull it off. I just like to work with him monologue wise and acting wise, because I want to see him be a success. And he's got a natural charisma when you meet him, and that comes through the camera. I think it's kind of like he just reminds me like the little 4 or 5-year-old kid who's like into everything, you know what I mean? he's got that charm about him. But if you can use that and make them hate you, wow, that's a great place to be, because he can say truths and get heat that he doesn't have to make things up in today's day and age. That's what's beautiful about that character. But Gacy's beard is piss poor compared to mine, and he's scared of me. Otherwise, he would have gotten in the ring with me, and I would have beat him and exposed him in front of everybody. But yeah, man, big shout out to Joe Gacy, hard ass working indie dude, and I hope he makes a fuck ton of money, man. Mandeer's in the house. Big shout out to Mandeer for all of his incredible Master Shoot Theater animations. Want to appreciate him as much as I can always. Just so much fun for me to watch those things come to life. It inspire another great artist. And he sent me a very cool video. I don't know about cool, but very deranged video of his band cutting a new song that hopefully will be for the Horror Junkyard's theme song, man. So just everybody creating their art at max value. I love that shit, dude. Instead of just sitting around wasting our time playing fucking video games that are conditioning us to kill whatever it is. I don't know, the fucking aliens or fucking World War II Japanese, whatever you're playing to murder people. I'd rather see people put that energy towards creative endeavors, and especially if you can collaborate using somebody else's art, then there's no higher level as far as I'm concerned. Let's see. Paige, you might have heard her, baby girl, drops another hint about a possible in-ring return. Why don't you just stick to Twitch, sweetheart? In recent months, former Divas champ Paige has dropped several hints, which would indicate she's preparing to make an in-ring comeback, just what we all wanted. Paige tweeted January, "I'm not done yet," flexes biceps shortly after discussing the possibility of her pro wrestling return on Twitch, where she made $460,000 apparently. During the same stream, Paige mentioned how she wants her return to be a surprise. That's why she's talking about it now on Twitch, which is why she won't announce the exact time frame. Baby girl. On Sunday, Paige dropped another hint by posting a picture of her wrestling boots with a Divas title and a poster of the film Fighting with My Family in the background. Earlier this year, Paige said she was hoping to follow in the footsteps of her Hall of Famer Edge and Bryan Daniels, who overcame the odds and returned from career-ending injuries. Let's talk about the difference between Bryan Daniels and Edge and Paige's work. Paige, 29, was forced to retire after suffering a career-ending neck injury. I don't mean to laugh at that. That sucks. It was believed that she was under contract through 2023, but Paige recently revealed that her deal expires in 2022. Her last tweet can be seen below. Her wrestling boots are Doc Martens. Okay, interesting. Fighting with My Family, the movie, was trash in my opinion. The fact that she really even has a gig I would have to say is because there's some other blackmail. I wouldn't bring her back to the roster just based on the past indiscretions of not being trusted, that 2 days after you fucking put her back on TV, she's not going to have an Instagram leak where she's shoving a vibrator up her ass, because there's 4 or 5 videos of that out already. Or what she did with Woods and Beef Wellington, absolutely. That alone, like, I gotta believe that she's got dirt on somebody to not have her fucking ass fired because of it, or she's putting somebody else over who can keep her around. Yeah, dude, is she attractive? I mean, the goth thing isn't really my cup of tea, but yeah, she's hot and she's carny as fuck. Her whole family is a bunch of carnies. She grew up in it. No doubt about it. She knows how to work the system, and she also knows how to work Twitch. She's the number one earner, because I watch her channel and it sucks. And all she does is tell, "Oh, I'm not going to do anything until somebody gifts 20 subs to da 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 da." She just demands that people subscribe, which you can subscribe using your Amazon Prime account for free here at twitch.tv/Hamin Media. And we appreciate that as I pimp myself out. But hey, man, it's her dream. If she wants to get back in the ring, so be it. But if you got a fucked up neck and you're doing this shit, dude, I don't know why she wouldn't. If I was her, and I'm just like Paige, if I was her, I'd be pushing to be the next Elvira. And if not that, it's obviously a shitty, fucked up business. But if you're into doing porn for free on in your carny and a sex addict, which I believe she definitely is, based on letting Instagram dildo up the ass fucking videos drop, then go into porn and make a fuck ton of money in crossover. I mean, can you hold it together without being an addict? I don't think so, because We've seen all the Alberto Del Rio drama with her, whether they're fucked up on cocaine, fighting in the airport, or she shows up at Impact with a mask on while he's on, thinking that WWE's not going to be hot about it. Like, just a lot of immature, bad decisions, probably fueled by fucking some of Colombia's finest, you know? So, and to me, if we're sitting around a boardroom, no hotness fucking makes up for the possibility of what could possibly go wrong now the next time around. Is she going to draw one ticket? Is anybody going to go, I wasn't going to go to WWE, but now that Paige is back, fuck, we got to get ringside seats. You know, is anybody doing that? And are we just waiting for the next PR disaster where we're trying to march her out for Connor's cure and fucking Women's Empowerment Month? And then we've got some fucking Pornhub shit to deal with. I think the story speaks for itself, but that means she'll probably be made champ night one. Yada, 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 yada. Oh, let's see. What's this one? That's a pop-up that we don't need. Brie Bella, you might have heard of her. She says, seen a drop in the direction for the women's division. Well, I mean, not to smash on women here, but I'll smash on women. But to you know, put a dark cloud on them. But she was on the Sippin' Tea TV show, which that sipping the tea shit, all that shit is fucking stupid. All those little spill the tea, shut the fuck up and just tell me, the stooge. Brie Bella spoke about current landscape of women's wrestling in WWE. Brie mentioned how she's seen a dip in women's wrestling as of late, but highlighted how some recent returns could impact the division of possibility. She said, it's weird because I feel like lately you've seen a little bit of a drop. Now that Becky's back, there's going to be momentum with stories, but there for a while, I thought the girls were getting so much, and then all of a sudden it went back to so little. You could watch Raw or SmackDown, and the stories just didn't feel like they were getting as much depth as they should have and not as much time. I agree with that because the girls there are exposed as rotten most of the time and unsafe. And you can only have Asuka and Charlotte cover so many of the girl and Natty, many of the girls' bad skills. Carmella, Liv, Sasha, Bailey's very, very competent, but she would get roped into doing dumb shit that would expose her. And then bringing in Ronda Rousey, who's obviously a legit shooter, and putting all this fake marketing on women's evolution, because that was what was hot coming off a Pussy Hat and fucking all the Washington, D.C. stuff. So, of course, we're going to play the marketing trends that Stephanie's caught right up in. But then the bell rings, and we see that they're not as good. And they can walk through their match 1,000 times, and you can have a great worker. But if you got a kindergartner in there with them, it's going to go bad. And then they got their spot because of affirmative action of WWE's booking at WrestleMania. And what happened? They fucked their moment. They fucked their finish in the biggest moment where everything should have been building to that. And it exposed them as playing this. They're not really doing it. They want to be treated like the men, but they don't want to shoulder that. And no way could you come over the top at that time and go, that main event sucked, because you'd be just a He-Man woman hater at that time, instead of going, no, if you want to play this game at the highest level, you better be able to deliver like Roman Reigns does, like Cena does. And they didn't. And since then, it has been a downhill expose, because they put their fucking chips on that bet of the women's evolution revolution, and they crapped out. They lost money, and it hasn't drawn. And the women don't, what sells? Sex sells. And they don't want to act like they're sexy. They want to act like Stone Cold Steve Austin. Nobody wants a good looking chick who's an ass beater talking shit, who doesn't use her sexuality. Or if we have a fucking top athlete like EST, where we do want to believe her that she can do all these great things, they have her slap her ass and come out like she's all ghetto world star sweetie Megan Thee Stallion shit. So they don't even have a clue of what. Now, if you were going to go down that road and make her a twerking what have you, fine. But they want to switch it right back to, you're Serena Williams. Well, no. I just watched her slap her ass and you gave me a sexual vibe. Now I'm not going to come in and fucking be like, oh, but she's the ass whipper. Fuck out of here. You don't see Serena Williams come out and fucking start doing all fucking dances and shaking her ass. You can't have it both fucking ways. And that's where they're confused. And they want to be empowered too, but then they get exposed as insta whores. I'm the best women's technical wrestler. Now watch me take pictures of whipped cream all over my tits and face with my sister as we whore out on Instagram. Okay. Hey, I can't wait to get back in the ring, but here's my sex tape leaks. Okay. But hey, respect me and all my skills. Sure, I will. Oh, by the way, I'm having a mental breakdown, even though I'm the queen of wrestling. So I go to Dominican with my new fiance where it looks like I'm blowing him on camera. Hey, I want all my daughters to be just like you. See what I'm saying? So there isn't a dip. The dip is in the morality of what these women, and even an Impact. How about you'll treat women with all respect or I'm going to have you canceled. Now everybody buy my OnlyFans while I do some push-ups in a fucking bikini. Or I work out in a fucking bikini all day. Is that women empowerment or is that just being a C-level whore in the sex industry? Sex sells. I'm fine with people being straight up. You know who I got more respect for than all those girls? Katie Forbes. Because Katie Forbes at least turns around and will walk around with her badonka-donk out and make out with her girlfriends and show that we're in Vegas and that this is a sexual capital and that I'm free with my sexuality and that's what I'm all about. But she doesn't turn around and say, respect my in-ring work and don't talk about my sex. Like that's the big problem with WWE and what they want to do and what these delusional women think like their role is in this business. Becky Black Lips, Becky Biceps, Becky the Man, none of that shit's going to get over. It's not going to draw one ticket. It's not going to increase ratings. None of it. And until we get back to extreme with wrestling, with violence, with sex, with speech, then there is no hope for any women's wrestling to catch fire. There's only one hope. Serena Deeb. There's only one woman that even comes close to being able to stand. I'll put three in there. Charlotte, Asuka, and Serena are the only women that I look at as wrestlers instead of here's a girl who's trying to play the man's role when the sexuality isn't there. Natty's there, but with all the stuff she does with her sister and whatnot, it's intriguing. But yeah, man, that's just I get that the women want to be treated as equals like that, but you can't. If you're going to do that, then you got to police your own locker room. You can't have treat me like an equal and don't you dare look at me with lustful eyes. Now hold on while I throw this thong on and do some squats on Instagram. Okay, all right, sure I will. Stephanie McMahon inducted into the International Sports Hall of Fame. Well, it's about time. I mean, Stephanie McMahon was inducted earlier today in the International Sports Hall of Fame. She's the first female executive to be inducted. ISHOF was established 2012 to honor the world's greatest athletes in all categories of sport. Well, I mean, Stephanie is one of the greatest athletes of all time. Humbled and honored to be the first female executive inducted in the International Sports Hall of Fame with such a prestigious class. The key messages from all were passion, love, hard work, intention, and believing in yourself. Stephanie sent out a second tweet showing a photo of herself with this year's class. Congratulations, Jay Cutler, Phil Westbrook, Billy Blanks, Marcus Allen, and Ernie Reyes Sr., thank you, Robert Goldman Fairfax, and all involved in this historic event. I would say one of these things is not like the other. One of these things does not belong. And one of these people paid for their award. So last month, Stephanie also made Forbes 2021 list of the world's most influential CMOs. Chief Marketing Officer, I believe. Other notable connections who are in the ISHOF is Arnold Schwarzenegger, Mark Henry, Bruno Sammartino, Kurt Angle, Triple H, and Ronda Rousey. So, I mean, Stephanie with just so many classic matches that were awe-inspiring that we go back and watch tape of now. I mean, it was time that she got in the Sports Hall of Fame. Oh, my man Kyle Sanders in the house. Good to see you, cousin Kyle. Hopefully you're doing well, brother. Miss you. It always pops you when cousin Kyle makes an appearance. I mean, I know he was more of a Horseman fan. He's not the biggest wrestling dude, but doesn't matter. That's my dude. I love him just the same. And he's set up tons of shows, man. Tons of concerts and every other goddamn show you can imagine in Florida. So shout out to cousin Kyle. Give my best to Uncle Mark, man. And all you Marks out there, give you my best. Karrion Kross reveals who came up with his idea for the mask. Raw star Karrion Kross was on an episode of Table Talk with Hall of Famer Devon Dudley. Kross made his Raw debut this past summer, compared the environment of NXT and Raw. So it's a completely different experience in the way the show runs. CWC, where we would shoot NXT, the day felt, in terms of how the show was laid out, very predetermined in terms of direction. We just knew we were going, and everything was spaced out and time allotted. It was more concrete, whereas with Raw, there's so many moving parts. There's a lot of things that are changing moment to moment. See, that's terrible. So be able to adapt and change on the fly. I don't want necessarily to say it was hard. It was more fun. I enjoy stuff like that. I don't mind pressure, whatever. Sometimes when you're backstage, certain things like time stuff either gets extended or cut and stuff like that. For me, it's been really fun. Yeah, I like that. I kind of like that too. Like, hey, you got to stretch 2 minutes. You got to cut 2 minutes. I don't necessarily know if I observed the transition from NXT to Raw or necessarily hard or easy, but just in general, really cool learning experience, and to see how many people in comparison to the Performance Center to Raw. In terms of staff are a part of it, there's just wires around the entire place. Yeah. How many people come together every Monday to put the show together from the ground up is incredible. It's very inspiring to see how many people put the show on. People don't realize it. They only see what's shown to them. So from everything backstage, everyone working together on this massive creation, it's pretty awesome. That's kind of how I observe it all, but it's a totally different experience. Shout out Killer Kross, man. I mean, just so much money written on this guy as a Bond level villain. I didn't even get to the fucking part where he said who gave him the mask. Hold on 1 second. I got to reopen that. But this week on Lions, Tigers, Bears, and Disco, or else it was Time Out, we get into it with about Kross, and Disco Inferno is his sensei, original one. So it is Disco's got to walk a fine line, because he's gonna have to answer to it. And I'm acquaintances with Kross as well online. We can talk openly, DMs or what have you, but I don't want to fuck up his push by saying bad things by any means about whatever his gimmick is. But they didn't want to put over the heat from NXT that influenced his terrible debut so they could teach him a lesson. And then Disco kind of goes in on, I can't remember what the other case was, but it was a similar thing about, I think it might have been Leo Rush or somebody along those lines, and the heat and getting put into these stupid things. Or no, it was Lashley. I go, put the same filter on Kross and tell me that shit's not happening. And then, silence is gold. Disco's a top level worker who knows how to play this game, and he's not going to fuck up his chances for his boys. But that's what happened here to him, and that's why he's saddled with this dumb shit instead of seeing the true potential of him being the Jason Statham of WWE, which he absolutely fucking is. There's just you just look at him, there's tons of money written on him. I'm not entirely sure at this point I received a briefing about it. I think it was a creative team conversation. I guess it was a series of people attempting to expand on an original concept that was presented during NXT. So I guess it was a team of people, but I think that they were attempting to go in essentially as the gladiator idea. I had introduced the lower body gear at NXT when I competed against Finn Balor to get the title back. And my original concept was that it feels like Coliseum days would be like. We're just in this circular area. There's people all around. This is what the Coliseum would be like at that time. And with the character presentation of Karrion Kross and the development of the character, this wasn't just a regular match people were going to be getting into. Yeah, this guy can light you up with a shot you're going to carry with you for the rest of your life. Wow. You're going into this match, whether you win or lose, you might be not coming out the same way. See, all this is like NXT, like, cut the promo and this, you get in there with me. I'm going to light you up with a shot that you could carry for the rest of your life. You're going into this match, and whether you win or lose, you might not be coming out the same way. And I was really attempting to project that sort of energy into it. And I think they wanted to do when we were coming up, it was to play off that. So that's kind of where we're at right now. I like, again, Cross, a political master. He doesn't have to be here on the outside saying the truth. I think a lot of this is held over from Undisputed Era and the heat that they saw Cross going by him because there's a shit ton of money on them, and that they're only 5'4", and chances are they're never making it out of NXT. There was a lot of that. In there, but Cross can't say that because the heat will come back on him twice as hard, and neither can Disco. So he's going to take a shitty gimmick and try and make the most out of it by committing to the bit, and that's, aside from standing up for your own creative and being like, no, fuck no, which will probably get you taken off TV, you smile and try and make the best of it. And that is the shitty world of WWE. Adua DX says, Cody Rhodes, Bright Lights Hollywood TV show much? I don't know, man. Like, I watched 2 episodes, and Russo and was a little bit critical of, like, these are the 2 most unlikable people, but I didn't have too much issue. I mean, Brandy's 9 months pregnant, bro. You ever deal with a fucking emotional 9-month pregnant woman, man? Like, you like that, you're gonna be walking on eggshells. But to me, Cody didn't come off as like arrogant. He came off as a guy who's fucking got way too much on his plate, bro. And like, especially just being a new dad, like that alone in any human being's life is massive. Now go in and be an executive vice president, go in and take bumps, be the leader and agent that you got to be backstage, then try and go out and pull a performance off. They showed that weigh-in that was just an abortion, and I've been in terrible segments like that, so it hurt me to even watch it live. Then they go back on the road show and break it all down, and Cody, dude, this is where I was like, people say what they want to, but at the end of the day, this is what it takes to be a top guy in wrestling. Where he had to agent that, it went to shit. You could have blamed it on this guy, that, or that, and Cody goes, it was on me. I agented it. At the end of the day, the shit's on me. And that's when you're spread too thin. That's when those type of things happen. Why didn't we run through it with this scale that wasn't going to work because we're in a ring with mats? So anytime anybody moves around, it's going to fuck with it. Why didn't we get a digital scale? Sure, the visual is one thing, but it's not there. And then we've got, whoa, baby, wine. And we've got every other thing, you know, and People magazine, nursery photographs and all that kind of stuff, man. Like, I was tired for him watching it. You guys know how hard I grind just in my own studio and on the road. Now imagine doing that grind, but you got to travel from Atlanta to Florida to fucking Chicago to Vegas to New York to Rochester, dude. Like, people really don't know what that is just for the performer. And this guy's got that and the reality show on top. There's only in this entertainment business, when the light is on you, you got to make the most of it and cash in. So I get that fully for him, but he's spread so thin that the guy has got to break. There's just only so much a human can take. So people were kind of fucking shitting on it a little bit, but I was like feeling for Cody, to be honest with you, dude. Like, I was like, whew. And that's a spot where, you know, not that I'm going to come and be like, I'll be on the roads to the top, but how many jobs could a guy like me or Ted McNailer or, you know, a lot of dudes go in there and really alleviate some of the stress on this guy, man, because he's living 5 lives right now. Something's got to give, bro. You got to break sooner or later, you know? But I hope the best for Killer Cross, to go back to that, dude. I mean, that guy is just a fucking right out of central casting of what you would want, you know? And I don't know why. I mean, I do know why they split his chick off from him and all that. And that's the pettiness of wrestling, because there was so much there, dude. To me, you want to know what Killer Cross and his woman are? And this is what I would run him as. I say this and then they'll fucking paint his face silver or steel, which would be stupid too. But to me, Killer Cross and Scarlett Bordeaux are Destro and the Baroness. Two very evil, very sexy, very unpredictable people that like, even though Destro and the Baroness are fictional characters, I get it. Like, so are they, but that's where I would have gone from. That would have been my jumping off point. A romance built in evil. Where can we go with that? Mike Martin, it's going to take a bit to repair Cross. I agree, man. And will they ever get it? Their track record proves no. And that's not that Cross doesn't get it. It's that Cross plays the political game to keep a job, which I totally understand, instead of being like, look, you dumb, old, out of touch motherfuckers. Let me sit down. I know we're busy here, but this is where we need to go with this, so Liv Morgan comments on why her momentum in WWE is getting halted. Well, that should work out well for her. She's like, I feel like the past 2 years I've had moments where I feel like I've had so much momentum, I'm just about to break through, and then I don't. What, you mean like when you were in a bathtub and you were going to show us some sexiness, or then when your mom told you what you need to do, or when you wanted to be a chicken farmer and show us that, where you're scrubbing chicken shit while we're supposed to be in love with you sexy when you were in the bathtub. Now I'm thinking about you scrubbing chicken shit off yourself. Then I'm going to show them all my new lucha style at Breeze and Spears's fucking ring. And then you also are on camera wrestling -1 from the other company. Like, you know what that says to me? Zero vision of what you are supposed to be in this business and how you're supposed to conduct yourself while you're under WWE's flag. Like, they might have plans for you, and every time one of those social media infractions or some in-ring retardation exposes itself, that's why pushes are halted every single time. It's not like, oh, we had plans for Liv, but we're going to go this way instead. It's just a creative choice. No, it's every outside choice that you think isn't influencing why your stuff is halted. That's why it's halted. And no one's going to say it to you. No one backstage is going to tell you this, that, or the other, because they keep doing it. Let's see. I think I like to think positively, and I'm very glass half full. So when I look back, I'm like, maybe I wasn't ready as I thought. And that's why I just didn't break through, and I wanted it to be the same. Maybe I just wasn't ready as a performer. Also, all the beach selfies. That's another thing. Like, sure, we like sexy girls, but you're not going to be the sexy girl and the ass whipper. And then whatever you think that fucking metallic tears are going to be I'm going to do this now, and this is what's going to get me over. Okay. But now I feel much more well-rounded, and I'm just ready. I'm ready for that top spot. I'm ready to be that girl. So I definitely feel like Money in the Bank. I'm just going to keep the momentum going until I'm SmackDown Women's Champion. Might as well, really. Good luck with that. Trying to get the belt off of Becky Lynch. Trying to get it off of Charlotte when you're not married to anybody. Top draw. I mean, I think she's with Bo Dallas, but that's not going to get you politically anywhere unless Bray was on top still, which he's not. Obviously, Charlotte's going to have her spot. You can't out wrestle Asuka. Nia, when she comes back, is going to need her thing. There's no like road to the top for Liv, especially with amateur, childish social media infractions every 3 to 4 months when she gets frustrated and wants to do this, that, or the other, or commits to a bit and then blows off that commitment because we got to get a beach selfie with the girl that I just fought the night before. Oh, okay. Sure. Riddle called out by his wife for moving away from their family. Wow, dude. Riddle's wife is fucking shredded, bro. You got to see this woman. Holy cow. Dude. She's got to be like one of those fitness chicks that does like all the crazy fucking push-ups and whatnot, Wow. That girl is jacked, bro. I haven't seen a woman with a stomach like that in a minute. Riddle's littlest kid, man. Funny, looks just like him. Identical little hippie, dude. Is this kid a 9-year-old stoner? What the fuck? Raw Tag Team Champs Riddle and Orton, collectively known as RK Bro, were seen in action over the weekend in Cali. Probably at your local dispensary. Earlier on Sunday, Riddle tweeted out how he's living his best life tagging with his bro, along with a picture of him and Orton during the match. He says, I love my bro so much. I'm in Cali tagging with my best bro, Randy. Trust me, it doesn't get any better than this. Put it over. Responding to the tweet, Lisa Riddle seemingly put her husband on blast by questioning his commitment to their family. It's unclear if Lisa was being sarcastic when she wrote, you would say that now you packed up and moved to Orlando away from your children. You would say that now that you packed up and moved to Orlando away from your children. Lisa deleted her tweet quickly. A screen grab of the post can be seen below. Oof. Recently, Riddle and Lisa tied the knot 2011, having 3 children together. Back in late August, Lisa tweeted a picture of the family posing together with the newly won tag title. Yeah, that's tough. I mean, a lot of things can be lost in translation. Why is this doing all that? Lost in translation. Obviously he's got 3 kids, man. So I don't think he's leaving his wife for Randy Orton, but we've obviously had discrepancy in the past with the speaking out movement where he was cheating on his wife and they got back together, and who knows, man, what trust is broken there. I hope for the kid's sake and their sake and his jacked wife's stomach's sake, that that was just like a quick like jab between them that was misread, and it's not the fact that, hey, he's moved from Tampa to Orlando and we're separated, what's that for me? Hold on my hand on the camera just so you can biometrically scan my palm, and then hopefully the camera clears up. There we go. But yeah, dude, jaded wives in wrestling, not the first time. Seen plenty of social media weird stuff from ex-wives and now ex-wives going after workers and kind of calling them out where they're trying to work, and she's triggered off something. I don't know, man. So it's tough to read sarcasm, whether she's in on the joke. I don't want to make more out of it than it was, but the tweet, apologize, dive, repeat, as far as we go. So you want the Mason signs? Boom. Is there any way to take a pain-free bump on concrete floors or taking flat bumps from ladders? No. There's no bump that doesn't hurt, dude. Like, that's why they call it a bump. No one takes a bump and goes, oh, I feel so much fucking better. Whee! Once in a while, you'll take one, or somebody will put you in something like an abdominal stretch and your back will pop, or your hip will pop into a place where you're like, oh, that feels better. But usually it's on a hold getting stretched than it is. Every bump sucks. If you're talking about ladder bumps in the ring, they're not as bad. They're just scary because there's more air before you hit the fucking mat. But as long as you keep your chin tucked and you hit solid enough on your back, they're not much worse to take. Anything on the floor sucks, bro. There's just, I don't care if you got little gym mats or whatever. It's your skeleton in momentum being stopped violently. So that sucks. That sucks shit. But yeah, dude, I hope all's good with Riddle's family, man. That sucks. It sucks when the one person, and I'm sure for her too, that you're supposed to rely on is the one causing you like problems in public. And every wrestling wife is smartened up to know, shut the fuck up, kayfabe, don't talk around the boys, don't say anything we talk about outside, like don't try and bring up conversation that's gonna fucking get me heat later. Oh, he talks to his wife about that. It's very, people rib when I say it's the mafia, they think it's a fucking joke. It's very much the exact same rules, bro. Very, very much. So nobody in wrestling is going to stick an ice pick in the back of your neck. They'll do it proverbially and career wise, but not straight up murder you. Unless Tommy Dreamer's hot. Bryan Danielson, you might have heard of him before. He reveals the actual reason he was forced to retire from WWE in a new interview with WDEL.com. Danielson opened up about his debilitating injuries that led to the long hiatus in WWE. At the time, Bryan even announced his retirement from in-ring competition. But the story behind that is more complex than it was explained on TV. I legitimately thought I was healthy and still think that I am healthy. One of the reasons I was forced to retire was not because of concussions, but because I lied about that. You have to understand from WWE's point of view, I had been wrestling for 6 years, but then all of a sudden they opened this Pandora's box about lying about his medical history, and now we can't trust him. A lot of that was building the trust back, but they were also legitimately looking after my health. I was going to see a doctor after doctor and doing everything I could to improve my brain's function to show above and beyond that my brain was healthy. It's also my love of wrestling. I felt like I wasn't really ready to be done yet. I still needed to come back. I also think there's a lot of concussion research to be done. And when you're seeing top doctors in the country and they're clearing you to do what you love to do, I think that you should be able to do that. Bryan, now 40, mentioned his he's 40. Mentioned his process before and after the match to continue keeping his body in tip-top shape. He admits that after long plane rides and demanding match, usually take a toll on his body, no matter how much he stretches. So go to the top of the show, and absolutely. And that's a guy who takes crazy, like, ouch bumps because he has to be on the cell. I think your body adapts to so many things. We were actually just talking about this in the locker room. Someone said every fall hurts now. I was like, really? I think it really depends on the crowd. When you wrestle in front of a rabid crowd, nothing hurts. I do extensive warm-ups before I go out, and every night I get back to my hotel room after the show, I'm foam rolling, stretching, and making sure my body's in a healthy position to recover. Got to. I think for me, one of the hardest things is the long plane trips. When you get to be 40 and you just wrestle a 30-minute match with Kenny Omega, nope, I'd beat him in 8 minutes. No matter how much stretching you did, the next day, if you're on a 6-hour plane trip, you're going to be hobbling getting off the plane. Realistically, I hadn't wrestled in 5 months. I wrestled Omega for 30 minutes, did a 6-hour plane trip the next day, and I felt pretty good. There are a lot of physical demands, but if you keep it up, your body maintains, and it's manageable. Pretty much, not to Horowitz, but that's Wrestler 101, right? I explained that in the Punk thing. But the thing is, with guys like him and Punk, they're not going to be wrestling like that. They're going to wrestle a 30-minute banger and be off for a week to 10 days. And that is harder on your body than being in, like, long term, you're punching your bump card if you're wrestling 5 days a week, way more. And your career might be shorter. These guys already had big careers, but now at 40, 42 years old, wrestling every 10 days and being icy in between is going to hurt that much more. Everything's just going to constantly be aching, bro. I'm ready to retire. Final story of the day, kiddies, as we bring it up over an hour and 7 minutes solo on the Dolo. Miss RBV this morning. Hopefully everything's well with him. Thanks to all the HMG staff for everything they did this weekend, social media wise. Appreciate you guys. The road is always harder than wrestling. You don't feel like, I won't say that because when I got kicked in the face and my jaw's still fucked up, when I got kicked in the face, I felt it right away, but it wasn't until after I got to the back that I knew my shit was misaligned. I just got snapped. But usually when you're taking bumps in the ring, you're not feeling it. Like your adrenaline's pumping, the crowd's behind you, even if it's a shitty match, you can be all fucked up. So, here we go, right here. The man joining us himself. Good morning to the Stevie Richards. He says, I'm still messed up from doing a 2-day signing. Planes and hotels kill your body, man. I mean, when you put in as many miles and taking as many stiff bumps as Stevie has, man, that's all it takes is to be in some weird fetal position in a plane for 2-3 hours. And you got to really do everything you can just to get the bottom of your spine to lengthen a 1/4 inch so it lets up on those nerves in your sciatic, or you get a knot in your shoulder blade and your whole trapezius muscle locks up like a giant piece of plastic, bro. It's just like, it's all those little things, all the small things that add up and compound over time. But hopefully you guys went out and checked out the video game conference that the Blue World Order was at this week. It was good to see Meanie and Stevie and Nova all together having a good time, man. Always pumps me up, takes me back to the old days when I was just watching. Our final Yeah, but right now, definitely today's show sponsored by Stevie Richard Fitness and Natural Immunity. I'm here to tell you that if you do need to get back in shape or you're working on mobility with the pandemic, that was one of the best things for me was taking that year off and doing Stevie Richards Fitness because I couldn't really raise if you're watching video, I could raise my arm about to there from my shoulder being blown out from taking posts and just having rheumatoid arthritis. Stevie Richards Fitness. Now I can get it all the way back, touch the back in between my shoulder blades, no real problem. And doing a lot of boxing, once it gets lubricated up, it feels all right. But I was in a bad way. So Stevie Bands, StevieRichardsFitness.com, the way to go. And if you want to lift heavy, I know I'm gonna Force USA. I think I got it right. Force USA. Or if you want to dry fire guns, he's got all that for you too. Our final story of the day. Devon Dudley, get the tables. Devon details, quote, why he won't do business anymore with Bully Ray. Wow, that's quite a headline. I was interested to read this. Devon Dudley's in-ring days may be behind him, but the decorated tag team wrestler still contributes to the pro wrestling on the daily as a producer. Despite enjoying his current gig as a WWE backstage personnel, Devon says it took some time to getting used to. He said, just for the record, I never wanted to stop wrestling because we're all crazy addicts. I never wanted to be a producer backstage for WWE. I enjoy it now, but it took some years to actually embrace it and like it. Bubba decided during that 2016 run that the Dudley boys were not being treated fair in terms of the position we were in. And I get it to a certain degree, but you have to understand the Attitude Era was gone. And I even said that to him. It's gone. It's never coming back. The Dudleys are one of the most successful tag teams in wrestling history. Devon and Bubba have collected championships at every company. While the two are always on the same page in the squared circle, Devon says the two had different perspectives on the Dudleys' 2015 return run to WWE. Says, I'm not coming back to WWE to relive the Attitude Era. In my opinion only, in terms of between the both of us, I didn't feel that way like he felt. They were messing up the legacy that we chose, a title that didn't mean anything at this point in the stage of the game when you've won 24 already. So to have any other title that says you're the tag team champions at that point didn't really mean anything. What meant to me coming back to WWE was helping the young talent out, being able to pass the torch and go back to the place that I felt back in 2005 that we didn't leave the right way. There was still some stuff left on the table that I felt like we had to come back to WWE in order to finish out my career the way I wanted to. The duo would depart WWE a little over a year after they returned. Devon made his way back to the company a month later as a producer, but Bubba moved on completely due to creative frustration. The former TNA champ wanted to bring his popular Bully Ray character to the screen, but Vince was not interested. That was a mistake. That Bully Ray character was made for WWE, and shoot, bang, bang. That would have been awesome. And really, Kevin Owens could be a lot of that Bully Ray character now and get over with it. There was a contract given us to the second run. Bubba didn't want to sign it. He wanted to do the Bully Ray character. Vince said no. He didn't want that. He wanted the Dudleys. He didn't want us to break up, regardless to what we did in 2002 when we broke up. It still lay fresh in their minds that we were better as a tag team. It's his sandbox, and you have to play in his sandbox or go home. Oh, man, this goes on and on and on and on. Well, Bubba didn't want to play fair, and I know Bubba will have his own opinion about what happened, but again, that's the majority of it. They gave us both a contract. I signed it. He didn't want to sign it, and it left a bad taste in their mouth. And by the time he was ready to sign it, some time had already went by. Let me give you a timeline. When Shane came back in Detroit, that was when I signed the deal. That was March. So the deal actually came to us in February. Now they've been trying to get Bubba to sign it. Now all of a sudden we go forward. I've signed it and he hasn't because there's still things he felt like he had to take care of. But by the time he got through that, the company was like, nah, we don't want it anymore. We're not dealing with the headaches. And they decided not to do it. A longtime partner separated in 2016 with Devon producing for WWE and Bully Ray competing for Ring of Honor. According to Devon, the two do not do business anymore, and he has no hard feelings towards Bubba. Man, interesting in Dudleyville, what's going on there. And I know, this is my little inside stooge because Spike Dudley is the grandfather of 2CW, helped a lot get the company over, had great moments there and really loved it. I thought we might see him on the reunion, but he had come out of retirement specifically for 2CW and we shut down. So hey man, welcome to professional wrestling, dude. A tag partner that you can get over with and the crowd's behind might be the biggest pain in the ass and get you heat. I'm not, and in this case, obviously it's more business side, but whether it's Hall and Nash, whether it's Hawk and Animal, we've seen the dark side of the ring stories and putting things over. As far as one guy having to take care of the other one because he's a mess, you know what I mean? And you don't want the office to see it because then you're both going to get heat, and heat by association when you're not doing anything sucks, and then that's going to drive a division in the tag, which is what they want to. They want to test you and see how it's going to go. And Devon makes a smart play of like, I'm moving out of my career here. Well, Bully Ray's doing good things with Busted Open, and he had a great reinvention in TNA with the Bully Ray character. But when they want you to do the nostalgia with the Hardys and Edge and Christian, I get it. You don't want to just do that one trick pony shit, and you want to do more. But are you going to go toe to toe with Vince? And then once you do, you got to deal with the outcome, of what it all comes down to. So, and for Devon, he's got sons that he wants to, I believe, have in developmental if they're not already. And Bully Ray doesn't. So Devon's going to play the game so he doesn't fuck it up for his kids. And because he's a smart worker, so all that's kind of figured in. And if you had a 16-year run with somebody, longer than 16 years, really, 20-year run with your tag partner, you can always come back nostalgia wise down the road, but sometimes you got to go away and split up, and everyone's got to do their own thing. So I don't say that any of the heat was like, drug or alcohol related with their issue. It seems more like creative and wanting to do business. And Bully Ray is a fucking general in this shit. Yeah, I respect him for the fact that he's probably not gonna bend to like some like, oh, okay, we'll do it, instead of like, nah, dude, this is our legacy. This is where we're gonna go. And if he's got the money saved up, then so be it, man. Go to bat for your own business. But interesting, man. Things not all right in Dudleyville. And then the other thing was it was going to be they want to change Bully Ray to Bully Gay. So he was going to make him a proud gay American, and Bully Ray would have had to come out in a dress. So that would have been somebody else's gimmick. It looks good. I like that gimmick, but it's better on somebody else, Stevie. So I could see where Bully Ray turned it down too. But yeah, Allah, if you're looking for the guy in a dress, you can always go to Big Vito brand, Big Vito Mafia, doing big things over there, man. They're recording like crazy on Patreon, having a good time with Jargo and Big Ray and their new hosting crew over there. I've been chopping stuff up for Stevie Ray TV, and really great stuff coming your way soon, guys. So keep an eye out on that. I know the A show had big guests this week with Eric Redbeard, and everybody's just hitting on all cylinders, man, producing great stuff for you guys, whether it's Patreon, Channel Attitude, Russo brand, Hamin Media Group. We appreciate you guys sticking with us and being such loyal subscribers and supporters of everything that we got going on, because it's independent artists like us that are driven by great listeners like you. So, and hanging out. We're 41 strong right now, twitch.tv/Hamin Media and youtube.com. But if you guys want more, you can always go to patreon.com/Hamin Media. Hamin Media Group. I'm looking forward to creating a bunch of new stuff. I got some new album reviews up there and been having fun with that. So I'm going to do probably a Sopranos Saints of Newark review in the next 48 hours. I'm going to reach out to Feeney, see if he's available. I know his schedule is crazy, getting his ass kicked at AEW in the front row while people dive on him. So hopefully he's kicked off from his birthday and we can do a little collaboration for the first time. I think I'll be back with John Paz this week on Pro Wrestling 101, two-man power trip. Some of you guys wrote in, and he always puts over to me. He's like, man, the people love you. And like that it makes you feel good, guys. So thanks for putting that out there. I enjoy working with Paz. He's a great interviewer, and I can run my mouth nonstop. So he just asks the right questions and we lay out. So Yeah, Allah, man. Also, thanks to people who ordered cameo.com/binhamin, did some birthday ones. Yeah, some master shoot birthdays. And I'll be recording with Stevie here just a little bit, I'm sure, probably an hour or two for the SmackDown review and master shoot. And then I'm back tomorrow with Vince for the Raw review. So we'll be doing it nonstop recording. Vacation's over, infidels. Time to get serious. Got to sight in some guns this week. Hunting season opens next week. So we'll be back out in the woods. Maybe I'll cut some cool promos there too while I'm out sitting underneath a tree waiting for a deer to walk by for Patreon. And we'll light the fires and kick the tires, infidels, because it's Monday night. We're about to get raw once again. It's Hacker Hamin solo on the Dolo here on your Monday Locker Room. Yalla.